Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sahil Ramchandani from the Department of Commerce, Shahid Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi, and today I'll be talking about the topic of change management. Change or perish. This is something that most of you must have heard in your entire lifetime. For even my students, if I talk about the first day when you entered the college versus the last day when you're leaving college, you must have observed that you have changed drastically. The change has not been only the physical change, but also the change in the intellect level, emotional change, and also change in terms of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you learned over this 3-year period. So we can say that change is the law of nature, and those who are not willing to abide by this law are bound to suffer. As we can see in the case of the dinosaurs, for instance. They were not able to adapt with the rapid changes that were taking place on the planet, which led to their extinction. Or perhaps taking a more corporate example, we can see the case of Nokia mobiles, the Finnish company which had the market share of more than 50% back in 2007, which declined to just 3.1% in 2013. So what was the reason for this decline or this change? Just one, their inability to cope up with change. Had they been willing to adopt the new Android operating system, they would not have to suffer this miserable fate. On the other hand, its competitors like Samsung and iPhone utilize the same technology to produce more user-friendly phones and also in a more cost-efficient manner, which led to the downfall of Nokia. Next, I would like to talk about the VUCA world. VUCA, a term that most of you must have definitely heard, was invented in 1987 and popularized in 2002, stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Now, talking about the volatility, this is nothing new. Even if you see the Indian stock market just on one day, that is the day of the results of the Lok Sabha elections, you would have observed massive volatility. And this volatility has not just been for the Indian stock markets, but for the entire business scenario. There has also been an increase in the level of uncertainty. The business transactions have become more complex in nature, and the ambiguity has also risen drastically. So now what way we can overcome VUCA? So in order to overcome VUCA, we need to become VUCA individuals. That is, we need to have a clear vision and understanding about the environment in which we are operating, which includes both the internal as well as the external environment. We must have clarity of thoughts and actions. And lastly, we talk about agility. That is the flexibility. So we need to be flexible and need to change as per the changing demands of the environment in which we are operating. For example, we can take the case of the COVID-19 pandemic. So flexi timing, teleconferencing, video conferencing, compressed work week, staggered working hours, co-sharing office spaces. All of these things became very common during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the companies adapted to this. Another example of COVID-19 which we can see is the case of companies which were involved in the manufacturing of clothes, for example. So a lot of companies at that time were manufacturing shirts and trousers, suits, dresses, etc. But they were aware that in the present world scenario, people are not going out for shopping. They're not going for weddings or functions. So they'll not be able to sell their products. So in order to sell their products, what they did was, they started utilizing the same cloth for the manufacture of masks, which was having huge demand at that time. So this is how you can divert your attention to a new field or capitalize on something different and change according to the circumstances, which can lead to a profitable business. Organizational change, we can say, is simply the alteration in the existing conditions of an organization, and even the most successful organizations, it is necessary that they must change from time to time. It is not only necessary for their growth, but even for the mere survival. As we can say in the case of Nestle's Maggi, whenever we talk about instant noodles, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, let's have Maggi. But even a company like Maggi invested largely in its R&D. Why? Because they came up with different options like the Atta noodles and Maggi oats in order to cater to the needs of the consumers who were looking for healthier food alternatives. Thus, they were respecting the demands of the customers and the changing market conditions. All successful companies usually invest in their R&D so that they can improve their products in terms of the quality and also in terms of the features. The management also must continuously monitor the outside environment, which they do through the pest analysis, talking about the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and the legal aspects of business. Simultaneously, they also conduct an internal SWOT analysis to analyze the internal strengths and weaknesses of the companies in order to implement the change effectively and efficiently. Next is a very important topic that I would like to discuss, which includes the stages of change management. Kurt Lewin is the father of change management and also of organizational development, who talks about the various stages of change. Now, this is very important topic for anyone who is studying change management, and even for the students of OB who have this topic in their course, because this is a question which comes in the exam as well. The stages of change management, starting with the unfreezing stage, changing, and then the refreezing stage. So when we talk about the first stage, that is unfreezing, so I'll take a very simple example. For example, you have an ice tray and you put it in the freezer, but now winters approached and now the ice is no longer usable. So अब आप लोग क्या करेंगे? अब अगली बारी फिर से गर्मी आएंगी, आपको फिर से अब आइस की रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो आप उस आइस ट्रे को निकालेंगे, बट अब उस सेम आइस को नहीं यूज़ करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि आइस पुरानी हो चुकी है, ख़राब हो चुकी है, आपने वो 3, 4, 5 महीने पहले जमाई थी. तो फर्स्ट थिंग व्हाट वुड यू डू इज दैट यू वुड अनफ्रीज, मतलब कि आप वो पुरानी आइस को फेंकेंगे. इसी तरीके से अनफ्रीजिंग स्टेज ऑफ चेंज में क्या होता है? वी आर थ्रोइंग अवे आवर ओल्ड हैबिट्स, वी आर थ्रोइंग अवे द अनडिजायरेबल बिहेवियर सो दैट वी कैन acquire something new. So that brings us to the second stage, that is the stage of change, which will take place gradually and facilitated through the change agents. अब इसमें क्या होगा? हम फ्रेश वाटर भरेंगे. तो अब फ्रेश वाटर भरने की जगह हम क्या करेंगे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कि वी विल बी इम्पार्टिंग द ट्रेनिंग टू द एम्प्लॉइज so they can acquire new skills, they can learn the new technologies, and they can progress in life so that we can get better behavior and better work efficiency and effectiveness. And lastly, we come to the refreezing stage. This is again a very important stage. Why? Because अब हमने चेंज तो कर दिया, बट एक एम्प्लॉइज़ की नेचुरल टेंडेंसी होती है टू फॉल बैक. दे फॉल बैक टू देयर ओल्ड हैबिट्स. वी डू नॉट वांट देम टू फॉल बैक. तो इसलिए हम क्या करेंगे? उसको वापस फ्रीजर में रखेंगे. सो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस क्या करेंगी? दे विल इम्प्लीमेंट रीइंफोर्समेंट. नाउ रीइंफोर्समेंट इन इट सेल्फ इज अ वेरी डिटेल्ड टॉपिक विच वी कैन टेक अप इन वन ऑफ आवर फ्यूचर वीडियोज. बट अगर मैं ब्रीफली बताऊँ फॉर द टाइमिंग, वी कैन जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड रीइंफोर्समेंट एज अ टेक्निक, जहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे? वी विल बी रिवॉर्डिंग the behavior which is desirable or the newly learned behavior, and will be punishing the behavior which is undesirable or the old behavior. Thereby हम क्या करेंगे? जो चेंज हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया उसको हम सीमेंट कर देंगे, उसको हम परमानेंट कर देंगे. एंड दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ लर्निंग, अ रिलेटिवली परमानेंट चेंज इन द बिहेवियर ऑफ द पर्सन. सो जब हम एक रिलेटिवली परमानेंट चेंज इंप्लीमेंट करना चाहते हैं, सो दैट विल हैपन थ्रू द रीफ्रीजिंग स्टेज और द रीइंफोर्समेंट. Now, something about change, very important topic, again an important question from exam point of view is the force field analysis. जब भी हमको चेंज देखना है तो हमको देखना है कि कुछ ऐसे फोर्सेस होंगे हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जो कि चेंज को सपोर्ट करेंगे, एंड कुछ ऐसे फोर्सेस होंगे जो उसको सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, उसको रिस्ट्रेन करेंगे. सो दिस इज द स्टेटस को, दैट इज द करंट पोजिशन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एंड सपोज दिस इज द न्यू डिजायर्ड स्टेट ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस जहाँ पे हम पहुँचना चाहते हैं. सो इसके लिए कुछ फोर्सेज होंगे जो हमारे फेवर में होंगे, which are known as the driving forces, and कुछ forces होंगे जो इसको रोकेंगे, because whenever there is change there is always resistance to change as well. So these will be the restraining forces. So I'll give a very simple example here. So we can take the example, for example हमें अपनी कंपनी में एक न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी को इंट्रोड्यूस करना है. तो इसके लिए हम देखेंगे हमारे पास कौन से ड्राइविंग फोर्सेस रहेंगे. फर्स्ट रहेगा इंसेंटिव्स. हमें कंपनी से इंसेंटिव्स मिलते हैं क्योंकि द पीपल हु आर विलिंग टू लर्न द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, उनको हम इंसेंटिवाइज करेंगे, उनको हम रिवॉर्ड करेंगे. सेकंड कैन बी द फियर ऑफ पनिशमेंट, क्योंकि दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट विलिंग टू लर्न द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, सो दे कैन लीड टू डिमोशन और दे कैन इवन बी रिमूव फ्रॉम द कंपनी. उनको कंपनी से निकाला जा सकता है. सो इस फियर के लिए वो जो लोग हैं वो चाहेंगे कि ओके वी वांट टू लर्न दिस न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी दैट द कंपनी इज स्टार्टिंग. थर्ड कैन बी द परफॉर्मेंस क्राइटेरिया. हम बताते हैं अब कि हमने परफॉर्मेंस क्राइटेरिया ही बना दिया, दैट द एम्प्लॉइज परफॉर्मेंस विल बी इवैल्यूएटेड बेस्ड ऑन दिस न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी. सो ऑब्वियसली दोज पीपल हु आर लुकिंग फॉर करियर डेवलपमेंट एंड ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटीज विल हैव टू अबाइड बाय दीज रूल्स. एंड लास्टली वी कैन से एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एनहांस द स्किल्स. तो एम्प्लॉइज को लग सकता है कि ओके ये तो हमारे लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि जहाँ पे हम अपने स्किल्स को एनहांस कर सकते हैं. ऑन द अदर एंड विल हैव नाउ द रिस्ट्रेनिंग फोर्सेज, जैसे फियर ऑफ द अननोन. अब क्योंकि न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी है, हम उसके बारे में सब कुछ नहीं जानते, एंड दिस इज अगेन अ नेचुरल ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी कि जब भी कुछ नया आता है तो हमको थोड़ा डर लगता है कि इसको हम ट्राई करें, नहीं करे, अगर हम इसमें आगे बढ़ेंगे तो किस तरीके से होगा, लोगों का रिएक्शन क्या होगा, what will happen. So that is the fear of the unknown. Another will be the habits. So as we can say, old habits die hard. हम ऑलरेडी हैबिचुअल हैं ओल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी से, सो इसलिए हम नई टेक्नोलॉजी को लर्न नहीं करना चाहते. थर्ड वुड बी द थ्रेट टू एक्सपर्टीज. सिंस वी आर ऑलरेडी एन एक्सपर्ट इन यूजिंग द ओल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी, now we feel कि if we are transferring to a new technology, so we will lose our expertise. Maybe someone else is better at it. So therefore we feel that हमारी expertise को threaten हो रहा है, तो इसलिए हम चाहेंगे कि old technology हम use करते रहें and new technology पे हम shift ना करें. And lastly, job insecurity. अब हमको लग सकता है कि भाई नई टेक्नोलॉजी आएगी, so the manpower requirements will go down. So ऐसा ना हो कि लोगों की नौकरियां चली जाए. Again, the size of these arrows indicates the strength of the force. तो force field analysis ज़रूरी क्यों है? बिकॉज जो हमारे चेंज एजेंट्स होते हैं, दे नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट व्हाट आर आर ड्राइविंग फोर्सेस सो दैट दे कैन स्ट्रेंथन द ड्राइविंग फोर्सेस. सिमिलरली दे विल आइडेंटिफाई दैट व्हाट आर द रिस्ट्रेनिंग फोर्सेस सो दैट दे कैन डेवलप प्रोएक्टिव स्ट्रैटेजीज इन ऑर्डर टू रिमूव these roadblocks and weaken the restraining forces so that we can ultimately lead or reach to the new desired state of existence. And that in brief is the force field analysis. So this is it for my topic of change management. If you like the video, you can hit the like button and let us know your opinions in the comments. And if you want me to take up future videos on any other topic of organization behavior, you can mention that in the comments as well. Thank you.